Hello, welcome to Maths with Jay. So in this question we're told that we're looking at an arithmetic sequence. The first two parts of the question are fairly straightforward. We're being asked to find the common difference D and the first term of the sequence A. So let's shrink this down so that we give ourselves some space to work, and it would be helpful to have the formula that we're going to use to start with. That's the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. So let's look at this year, let's look at the important years. So the first year, we know we've got A houses built, and we're also told that in 1960, so that's going to be, if 1951 is year 1, then 1960 must be the 10th year. So that's going to be A plus, and looking at our formula, n minus 1, so that's 9, so A plus 9 times D, and we're given what that is. We're told that's 2,400. And then the other bit of information we've got is about 1990, and that's year 40, isn't it? So in the 40th year, so the 40th term of our arithmetic sequence, we know is A plus 40 minus 1, so that's 39D, and that's 600. So shall we number those 2, 1 and 2, so that we can explain what we're going to do with them. So we're looking to find the value of D. So if we work out equation 2 minus equation 1, then that's going to be 30D is equal to 600 minus 2,400, so that's minus 1,800. So the common difference is minus 60, and we'd expect it to be negative, wouldn't we? Because we can see that in the 10th year we've got a much bigger number than in the 40th year. So that's part A done. We should label this really, shouldn't we? So let's put an A up here. And now looking at part B, well, we've already got an equation. Shall we use equation 1? So if we substitute this value of D in there, we could use 1 or 2. So if we use equation 1, then we're going to get A minus 60 times 9, and that's going to be 2,400. So A is 2,400 plus 540. So that's going to be 2,940. So again, check that that's a sensible answer. We'd expect that to be bigger than the number of houses built in the 10th year, which it is. So that looks fine. So that's parts A and B done. So now let's clear ourselves some space to look at part C, which is looking at a total. So there we need a different formula. So when we're looking at summing an arithmetic sequence, there are two different forms of the formula. And in fact, we could use either one here, but one is much easier than the other, because we have found A and D, and we know what n is, obviously. Now the L in the first formula refers to the last term. So as we've got that, it's much easier to use this first version of the formula. So let's just write down what we know. So we know that n is 40, and we've got that A, as we found in part B, was equal to 2,940, and the last term, so that's the number of new houses built in 1990 in the 40th year, so that's equal to 600. So that gives us that the total number of houses built over the 40-year period is S40, which is going to be equal to a half of n, so that's a half of 40, multiplied by the sum of A and L, so 2,940 plus 600. So much easier to work out than the alternative. So you could do the alternative, but if you haven't got a calculator, this is going to be a much easier method. So halving 40 and then adding together the 2,940 and 600 will be 3,540. So that gives us a grand total of 70,800.